Welcome to the second last of the July Get Your House in Order Without Stressing Out challenge. I'm going a little early today, so my apologies for anyone who was planning on catching this live. We've made plans to go to the beach with the kids because it's the middle of July and it's a Wednesday and it's not raining, so why not? Right? I like to try to do some things that feel like summer because we still homeschool through the summer, a couple days a week, and with just the time of the year that we're in this stage in history, doing things can be challenging right now, right? So that's what we're going to do today. So here's the live. Let's get it done so you can access it. If you're catching this like way later in the future, or even quite frankly, just a couple hours from now, this is all going to be saved in the guide section ultimately, which you can find in the access bar at the top, all nice tickety-boo in order. So you can go through this whenever you want or redo this later if you're grabbing another home organization project and you'd appreciate just going through it step by step at your own pace again. So there you go. And hey, if we haven't met, I'm Tara, Christian wife, homeschool mom, 10 kids with one more on the way. And even though I'm like naturally organized, I was not really prepared for motherhood. And there's no way I was prepared to have a big family. I mean, how do you really prepare for that, right? And it's one thing to have theory. It's another thing to really put it into practice. So my heart is to help other moms embrace the blessing of children with joy and confidence. And so one of those ways to do it is to have a better handle on your home organization because even if you just have a couple of kids, it can get crazy out of hand sometimes, right? And you're like, turn around, you're like, how did that happen? So that is a nice segue into today's topic. By special request, I've been asked to do a special talk about purging. And maybe this would have been better at the beginning, closer to the beginning. So my apologies if you're like, wow, I really could have used that early in July, Tara. Just going to call it out. Purging. We all know what it is, right? Just like vomiting all the stuff out. Kind of colorful, but you know what I mean. When you need to do a major clean, and some ladies in the group have shared with me that they're like, how do I even start? Like, how did you even get there, right? It can be so overwhelming. And that's part of the problem is it's overwhelming and that can be intimidating, just even knowing where to begin. So I've got some simple steps for you. Step one would be to go and use the triage technique that I talked about in the first video of this whole series, and you can find in the guide section if you're not familiar with it. Real quick, it's just a simple technique to let you like mentally identify where you're going to start. Because yeah, kind of like a giant submarine hoagie or whatever, you're not going to do that in one bite. And if you try to, you'll quit before you even start. And that's just self-sabotage. So I highly recommend just simplifying the process by using my triage technique. Like I said, it's in the guides. Once you've done that, then you're just going to break it down into even smaller steps again, right? The big hoagie is not going to get done in one big bite, but you could do it in some small ones, right? And everybody's a little bit different in terms of, their situation, what needs to be purged, your health, your availability, your family situation at the time. So there's not a really one size fits all way to purge, but there's some good broad principles like identify where with triage, then break it down in some smaller steps. You could write this down on a piece of paper if that's helpful for you, or if you can map it out mentally and you just need to like make a decision, because that's usually it. Honestly, just gonna be real with you. When it comes to purging, it really just comes down to two things. Making the choice rather than kind of hemming and hawing about it and feeling bad. Just make the choice and then get it done. And I'll help you with the steps of, okay, yeah, how to get it done. Purging, once you've identified what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, really comes down to sorting. That's all it is. It's just sorting. And you can sort, right? Like these things go here and these things go here. And with a simple system, which I've developed a lot of simple systems over the year because 10 kids will make you simplify your life real fast, right? And just find a way. So my simple system I use for sorting things out, because we need to purge periodically here at our house too. I give the kids what we call a stuffed drawer or a stuffed bin, like a big Rubbermaid with a lid. So my older kids each have a drawer, just like a standard dresser drawer on the main level of the house, and they can use it for their personal stuff. And like as long as it's not going to mold, it's all their like scraps of paper from their doodles that they're just not ready to part with, little rocks and shells and crafts, and oh my goodness, you would not believe what's in there. But when the drawer is so full, it is either breaking off the hinges or it cannot be closed, it's time to purge, which usually happens like at summertime, which is a good time, time-wise. Hey, school's over, and now we're going to pull that drawer right out, put it on the ground, and I tell them to sorted out. So here's what they do. We get here's my hand, 4 receptacles, 4 containers that you're going to sort things in. And one of them is a garbage. One of them is a recycle bin, some kind of recycle bin. The other one is like a giveaway pile. So I might just grab a laundry basket or an extra box I have from like an Amazon delivery. And the last one be something to like another laundry basket or whatever for the keepers, the stuff that's going to go back in the stuff drawer. So garbage, recycle, give it away, keep. That's it. That's the sorting system I use literally for everything, whether it's an entire room or just like a section of a room, like a drawer in this case. So yeah, they just one item at a time, just like they take the item, they look at it, and they decided of the 4 places it could go, where is it going to go? Boom. And, little deeper, I might say, if you want to give it away, but to someone specific, maybe one of your younger siblings who would love to have a turn with that little noisy toy that you have, or there's a birthday coming up, you want to gift it to one of your siblings, they love that. And then when they're done, I might even go further because this is just once a year we do this, and we just sort of vacuum out because there's like an unbelievable amount of sawdust and little perler beads and broken crayons and pencil bits. Like it's amazing what gets to the bottom of this drawer. Really, it's impressive. So that's how we sort it out. And this, like I said, the principle applies in a large area. So if it's a whole room or if it's just like a section of your home, it'll work. And then once that first sort is done, and like I don't give them a time limit because I'm like, when it's done, it's done. So that's their motivation, right? Get her done. You're not leaving till it's done. So I give them a time limit. Right now I'm an adult. I usually have to give myself my own time limits, and I have to balance it with, life and my commitments and the fact that I have small children. So I would recommend you just decide how much time you're going to spend on the project. Is it going to be one big time block, on the weekend, maybe when hubby's home and he can kind of watch the kids while you just focus? Or are you going to break this up throughout a week or something and just do it in little half-hour chunks, whatever works, right? Just as long as you're moving forward and you feel comfortable with what you're doing, that's all you need to do. So yeah, once the first sort is done, empty that garbage. Put the stuff in the recycle bin if you recycle. And here's another optional deeper dig. You could go through that keeper's basket or container one more time. So as you're putting things back, that's an opportunity now to ask yourself some good questions. And what helps me is I'll ask myself, like, is this valuable to me? Like, obviously, is it like cash valuable? Is it emotionally valuable? Does it have like a sentimental value to me it brings me joy? It doesn't have to be meaningful to anybody else in the world, but if it's something special to me, that's value, right? It's got emotional value for me. So that helps me decide what to keep. Another system that I use that my husband told me he loves, that he never did this, so he's learned a lot about sorting because he's naturally just like a pack rat. He's self-admitted. He now uses a gauge of what we call the 1 year. If it's been a year that he's had this thing hanging around, he doesn't really use it, it's just there, it has little to no sentimental value to him, and it's been over a year, then it's easier for him to say, okay, Gavin, be real, this is just taking up space, right? And then he lets it go. Now, sometimes he might give it 1 more year because he's not quite emotionally ready to let go of something for whatever reason. So I don't really judge him on that. I've asked him to just keep some of his pile up stuff in a few areas. So he has a drawer that he could fill up, and it's a no judgment place for me. He has his work van, which, I don't even open up because I just, could scream sometimes. Hey, but it works for him and it's no danger to me or the kids, so whatever, right? So those are some of the techniques I use when it comes time to purge. Today, I'm going to be posting at 1 o'clock a written post with some tips on then how to move forward and maintain that. Because you know how it is when you do a massive purge and it looks so good and you feel so proud of yourself. And then like 2 days later, you're like, what the heck just happened? It's like it all just goes back. And it can feel discouraging, and it can discourage you from wanting to like do it all over again because it can feel like you're laboring in vain. This is a terrible feeling, like as a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, wherever you're at in your life. I've got some tips on how to maintain it so it doesn't get so crazy so fast and you feel more comfortable, confident moving forward. So that's what I got for you. That'll be there at 1 o'clock. Make sure you comment on this post and today's written post. That'll keep you in the grand giveaway. And the winner will be announced this weekend I'll be here again live on Friday, and we'll be doing the very last challenge post of this entire month. It has been such an awesome journey. Thank you for joining me in it. I look forward to connecting with you again on Friday, and let me know, did you do a purge this month? Are you going to do a purge in the future? And how did the tips that I gave you help? I would love to hear about that. I will see you in the comments, and I'll see you on Friday.